Hey guys, this week we are talking about food restriction and how it is absolutely
The worst.
does not work.
Hey, we're Michael and Christina, and we're going to help you see how simple your health can really be. So, this week we're talking about food restriction. And earlier this week I shared a story about how I used to basically eat diligently and perfectly or cleanly for about 5 to 6 days of the week. And then there would be 1 or 2 days of the week where I would basically let loose and eat whatever I wanted. So usually on the weekend, which would be a Friday or Saturday, I would eat and drink whatever I wanted. And I remember specifically what those things were. Friday night was like a wing night at one of the places that I was, or near where I was living. So I would have like a couple baskets of wings, and I'd have, ice cream afterwards. And it was just like this free-for-all of being like, I can eat whatever I want. And don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed that period of time because I was like, I really get to eat everything. And like, I love these foods. This is great. But then the next day I'd feel like crap. And then it took me about 2 or 3 days after that to basically recover from that because I just felt sluggish, I felt slow, I probably overate too many of wings, too much sweet, too much sugar all in one sitting, as opposed to like having a nice balance throughout the entire week. I basically went from one extreme of eating nothing, or not nothing, but eating all the things that I should or shouldn't eat or what are bad, and then eating those things all in one shot. So it was a very poor balance, and I did this for several months. And I was testing this out because this is something that like people talk about or they've talked about before, about like creating this schedule, because based off of the 9 to 5, that's kind of how it works, Monday to Friday, like I'm going to eat really well. Now on the weekend, I'm going to have fun and I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to eat what I want. Sure, you can do that, but there needs to be balance throughout the week. And that's what I learned through that 3-month, 4-month experience of trying to do 5 days on, 2 days off type of thing.
And that's basically what any diet really does, is it restricts you from one food for a certain period of time. So for 1 week, 2 weeks, 30 days, you're restricted from carbs, from sweets, from fats. And then at the end of it, you kind of go nuts because you're like, oh man, I miss carbs, I miss sweets, I miss whatever it is so much, that you just end up eating so much of it, and then your body's not balanced, it's not recalibrated, so you end up going right back to where you started.
It's crazy. It's these boundaries or this rigidity in your food consumption that creates the problem, because all of a sudden your body wants certain things, but you're telling it no, like you can't have that. As opposed to what we really should be doing is trusting our body and tapping into our body and listening to our body, which is something that a lot of us have lost the skill to be able to do, that sixth sense to be able to say, hey, like my body's craving this. That's probably because it wants it. So I should probably give it a little bit of that. Not all of it, not go crazy, but at least honor the fact that my body wants a little bit of this, and like I'll give it a little bit.
So we've definitely found ourselves in that position, and I'm sure that you guys have as well. And so it's just admitting that whatever the diet industry preaches, which is restriction for a certain period of time, like it doesn't work. It's not sustainable. And so what we've realized through our own practice, as well as what we teach, is really understanding what it is that your body wants and that balance. And so that's where we teach from, and that's how it's different from how all of these other diets are.
And the best part is it's not your fault. It's not our fault. It's stuff that we've learned. We were conditioned to learn these things because the marketing industry, advertising, they're so strong, they're so powerful that they're in our heads, they're in magazines, they're in videos, they're at the gym, they're everywhere we go, and people are regurgitating the same information that is just getting recycled and recycled. And so we don't know any better, so we try these things out and we test them out, and then all of a sudden we get caught in the cycle, and the next thing we know, we're miserable and we're unhappy and we're feeling unsatisfied, and we're just kind of feeling guilty and ashamed for eating things that we shouldn't be eating, and bad foods and those things. So it's no one's fault. It's definitely not your fault. It's definitely not our fault. No. But it is our responsibility to find our way out of it.
So catch the video on Sunday where Mike is actually going to talk about physiologically what happens in the mind and in the body when you restrict yourself from carbs, fats, proteins, all these different categories. What happens and what you should actually do instead. So check that video out.
And share us your stories with regards to food restriction, dieting, because I know everyone's tried it. I'm sure you watching this video right now has tried some sort of dieting. I've tried countless amounts. And you tried carb restriction a little bit as well.
Carb restriction, sweet restriction, all of the,
Everyone,
all the sorts.
everyone has food restriction stories, so share your food restriction story. I'd love to hear it. I'm sure other people would be inspired by what you learned from it and what you experienced from it. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.